Wonder Murmur, where whispers weave the heart.
Hello, little hearts. A new whisper begins. This is a story about a place where kitchens were quiet and pots sat still on the stove. This is a story about a girl named Lily who believed magic lived in stories and dreams, but never in a simple, everyday thing like a bowl of flour. Lily's world was a rainbow of imagination. Her bedroom was a starship, her backyard a jungle, and her reflection in the pond a great queen waiting for her kingdom. But the kitchen was a place of mystery, and frankly, a bit of a disaster. Her mother, a woman with a heart as warm as fresh-baked bread, but a talent for cooking that was, shall we say, unique, had just created a mountain of something that was supposed to be pancakes. It was a beige, lumpy monument to a failed breakfast, and a solitary slice of avocado lay beside it like a lonely survivor. But Mom, where's the magic? Lily sighed, pushing her plate away. Pancakes are supposed to flip and fly, not sit there like a sad beige rock. Her mother smiled a little sadly. I know, sweetie. I wish I had a little more kitchen magic. The air in the room was thick with a quiet disappointment. Lily wanted to feel the warmth of a home-cooked meal, the kind she read about in her fairy tale books. She wanted to believe that the kitchen held the promise of wonderful things. That's when her mother had an idea. Wait, the television, she said, her eyes lighting up. There's a new show I heard about, Chef Charlie's Kitchen Kingdom. Maybe he has some tips. Lily shrugged. She didn't want tips. She wanted a fairy godmother for the kitchen. But her mother turned on the TV and a new world came to life. The screen flickered to reveal a fantastical kitchen, one made of candy canes and gingerbread, with swirling rivers of chocolate and mountains of whipped cream. And at the center of it all was Chef Charlie, a cheerful man with a whisk in one hand and a magical sparkle in his eye. Welcome, dreamers and tastemakers, he boomed, his voice as rich as hot cocoa. Today we're not just cooking. We are creating, building, and dreaming with our hands. Lily leaned closer. This was different. Chef Charlie didn't just list ingredients. He told a story. He held up a carton of eggs and called them little suns waiting to be cracked open. He sprinkled sugar and called it stardust to make things shine. His hands moved with a dancer's grace, and the simplest actions, stirring, pouring, whisking, became a symphony of motion. The first recipe was for sky-high dream cakes. Chef Charlie showed them how to combine flour and sugar, a pinch of salt, and a spoonful of baking powder. He explained that each ingredient had a purpose, a role to play in the grand performance of the cake. He then demonstrated the magic moment of flipping the pancake. It takes courage to let go, he whispered to the camera. A little toss, a lot of trust, and whoosh! You've defied gravity. Lily watched in awe. This wasn't just a recipe. It was an act of faith. She looked at her mother, whose eyes were wide with a new kind of hope. The next recipe was for Garden of Wonders pizzas. Chef Charlie didn't just talk about bell peppers and mushrooms. He called them jewels from the earth, little umbrellas for the sun, and bursts of flavor waiting to dance on your tongue. He invited them to build their own tiny worlds on a piece of dough, to be architects of their own delicious creations. For a moment, the room was silent, filled only with the magical music and Chef Charlie's enchanting voice. The aroma of a kitchen filled with endless possibilities seemed to waft from the screen. filling their own quiet, sad kitchen. Then, on the final recipe, Rainbow River parfaits. Chef Charlie layered yogurt, granola and juicy berries. Life, he'd said softly, is like a parfait. A layer of sweetness, a layer of crunch, and a layer of simple goodness. It's about building something beautiful, one layer at a time. As the show ended, a deep, beautiful silence filled the kitchen. It wasn't the silence of disappointment anymore. It was the silence of a new beginning. Lily's heart was pounding. She no longer saw the flour as a boring powder or the stove as a fearsome monster. She saw a stage, a canvas, a place where stories could be told, not with words, but with flavors. "Mom," she said, her voice filled with a new kind of power. "Let's not just watch, let's do it. Let's make our own magic." Her mother smiled, a genuine, joyful smile that reached her eyes. She took Lily's hand, and together they stepped back into their kitchen. They chose the Rainbow River parfait as their first adventure. They worked together, their hands a little clumsy at first, but with growing confidence. Lily poured the yogurt, her hands steady and careful. Her mother added the sliced strawberries, which shimmered like tiny red jewels. They layered the granola, crunch by crunch, and topped it with a handful of blueberries that looked like miniature planets. When it was done, they stood back and admired their creation. It wasn't just a dessert. It was a masterpiece, a testament to their courage, their teamwork, and their newfound belief that magic wasn't just in fairy tales. It was in the simple, everyday acts of creation. It was in the warmth of a kitchen, the laughter shared between a mother and daughter, and the simple joy of building something beautiful, one layer at a time. From that day forward, their kitchen was no longer quiet. It was filled with the music of whispering ingredients, the clatter of happy spoons, and the wonderful, delicious scent of dreams coming true. Lily learned that the greatest magic of all isn't found in a magic wand, but in the courage to try, the joy of creating, and the love shared with every single spoonful. And that, dear hearts, is the sweetest story of all.
Wonder murmur, the story departs, yet the whisper imparts.